It's the World Series of Sim Racing here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting.
Oh, contact!
And some contact holds on for now as Vincent Sora. Colley's going to be able to hold on. 3 wide, 2 wide. Ryan Bird trying to be the hero. He'll door smack once again in the center of the corner. Figure out how to get out of the way. Vinny wrecks him! He wrecks him across the line! The 15 wins! One last chance, one last opportunity. He's digging, he's climbing, he's right on the bumper. Blocking going to be made. Will there be contact? Here comes Thompson. Check on the outside. We're going to be blocked, defended. Brian Johnson, O'Beenan will win. Here comes Vincent Sword to the inside, but it's not enough. Brian Johnson wins, and it's going to be the 13 trying his best. He'll hold on, or will he cross the line? It's Cedric Hunter by a nose. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Freaky Fast Broadcasting on your Wednesday night. Tonight, we give you the coverage of the WSSR Cup Series. As you can see on screen, we're at the last great Coliseum. Bristol is calling for us. The drivers are getting prepared as tonight is the last race of the regular season to figure out the 16 drivers that will hunt for the Season 9 championship. As well, I want to say thank you to all those joining with us. We're happy to give you the coverage here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Tonight's race, it's the Bristol Thunder 200 presented by Larry Art Productions. Thank you so much to Larry Art for being the sponsor for tonight's race. I know he's a huge fan of Bristol, and so are we, as this half-mile super banked course. It's going to give us high speeds, high wrecks, and drivers know the tensions are building up as well. Again, we are excited to give you the coverage on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer. Joining me at the booth, as always, has been Justin Malarkey. Justin, it's been a long season, 11 races down, but tonight, it's the last race of the regular season, and just like we saw on screen, I think huge calamity is expecting to be dwelling on us this evening.
Well, what a better place to be at than Bristol, right? I mean, we get to finish the season here at this super ultra fast, high banked, half-mile concrete track. I mean, we saw a great race at Dover. This is pretty much a mini Dover, but it's going to be even faster going through the corners with all that banking and all the speed. These drivers are going to be putting on a really good show, but like you said, Sam, last race cutoff, drivers are going to be, we'll be talking about them. Drivers have to win tonight to get into the playoffs. They're going to be doing everything they can. Will we see some type of Austin Dillon type move on the final lap?
Yeah, that has kind of been the talking point throughout the league after seeing this past Sunday's moves by Austin Dillon. Would someone be willing to use the bump and run or take out their competitors for a victory? We have over about 12 to 14 drivers still eligible mathematically for a win-and-you're-in situation. We also have ourselves 4 drivers mathematically able to point their way in within those 14. It's going to be all about the math. There's 3 major scenarios we're watching out for. That's the regular season champion. That's the cutoff line. And a win-and-you're-in cutoff line as well. We'll keep you up to date on those points as much as we have possible on our end. But as the drivers just finish up practice with Calamity, they get ready for when it gets serious. It's qualifying. Track position could be crucial. 33 drivers registered in for tonight's race. We'll see if anyone else joins while qualifying is going on. But Justin, 33 drivers at a half-mile course. This is critical to hit your marks here for qualifying.
Oh, starting up front will be important. I mean, we'll definitely see drivers being able to pass. We will talk about the multi-grooves, but Sam, I just worry if you don't get a good chance to start out front. I mean, this track is so small. You don't want to risk getting lapped down early in this race. I mean, if you got lapped before the stage, that could really put a damper on your night really quick. So qualifying will be really important. Drivers are hitting the track right now.
Yeah, drivers hitting the track as these drivers will be given 5 minutes to put down their fastest lap, but only 2 laps to do so. Hit the wall, go out of control, that will invalidate your lap time, and you'll be stuck with whatever lap is collected or not collected. You can have both laps be invalidated for tonight's qualifying. Currently top of the board, going to be the 70 machine of Aaron Smith II, but it is going to be a quick shuffle. Again, these laps under 15 seconds. It's going to be a very quick swing of who's on top of the board and who could fall just as quickly. And it's going to be a lot of talking points of keeping yourself out of trouble here tonight, as it's 200 laps, stage break at the end of lap 60, no fast repair, 4 extra sets of tires in pit road here tonight. And it looks like if we have a lot of cautions, fuel will not even be a factor. It's going to come down to track position and tire wear here tonight. Gavin Rogers, top of the board, the most poles of anyone this season, trying to hoist another one here this evening, as well as trying to grab his 4th win this season as Gavin Rogers. He looks to be one of the faster drivers here tonight, as one of the drivers that's hoping for a fantastic evening. Christopher Norris, part of the win in your in scenario and in a must-win spot. 38 bringing out a special scheme. It's his happy birthday to his dad scheme here this evening, as the 38 is hoping for a win to make a berth into the playoffs. Cannot point his way in. Only a win is going to enable the 38 to make our playoffs for season 9, as happy birthday dads all over this blue in orange machine, as Norris finishing up qualifying 17th after his first lap. Second lap clocks in. Doesn't look like it's going to be a huge push, only up to 15th position for that 38 machine.
I really like that scheme. I'm glad you mentioned that. One of my favorite things I think about iRacing is it seems like everyone's always talking about their family and all the people that watch, their friends. It seems like iRacing just has this great underground aspect of family, and it's great to see that paint scheme. Hopefully he'll do really well tonight. But another great paint scheme. Look at this Douglas Newbigging back on track. We talk about him quite often, Sam. A driver we think can win races, but seems to always somehow find trouble. Hopefully not tonight, but he gets in the wall, Sam. That's going to invalidate his lap. As you see, that's not going to probably count that second one.
No, we will not count that second one, and he is 14th on the board currently. Shane Tarian, one of the fastest drivers during the practice session, hoping to find some extra speed as they are getting as close as they can to that outside wall, but breaking loose off the exit this first lap. Not looking to be a clean one. Tarian's going to be trying to set up for lap number 2 to find that extra speed. But I do want to jump back to Douglas Newbigging. The fact that Douglas Newbigging coming into tonight in a must-win scenario for the 7, who in the middle of the season was heavily solidified inside of our top 16 in points, but had a 2-race suspension, and it hurt him so badly that now he's in a must-win here this evening. You hate to see that, as Shane Tarian going to be instead of our top 5, currently 4th on the board. Here's going to be Brian P. Johnson. He got close to that wall. I don't know if he grazed it yet, but across the line, hoping for lap number 2 to count. He's 30th on the board after lap number 1. That second lap will count, but only up to 21st. Hate to see that, but we'll do a deeper dive in the points here shortly. But Justin, having a 2-race suspension that really hurts your season, almost takes you out of a playoff contention. It's got to hurt for Douglas Newbigging.
Yeah, everyone who's been following this season probably hears us talk about, I think it was Michigan, where we thought he had a really good chance to win it, and then just all kind of craziness broke at the end of that race, and he just wasn't able to get the finish. And then it seemed the following week he got the suspension, and then missing 2 races, and then I think it was Indy that there was an issue at. It just seemed like it all fell apart right in that middle portion of the season. And as you said, he was a driver who we weren't really concerned about missing the top 16. But like you said, tonight, what he has to do is go out there, lead the laps, lead the most laps, but get that win, and he'll be good to go. But he's got a lot of competition. Qualifying's coming to an end, and just looking at our top 5, there's some fast drivers up there. But look at that, Cody Reed right there in 6th, Sam. He's a driver. He gets that win tonight. He's going to be jumping a lot of people and move himself into the playoffs.
Cody Reed enters tonight 18th in points. He is 24 points out from the cutoff line, so still mathematically possible to point his way into the playoffs, but a win would solidify himself, as Gavin Rogers grabbing his 6th pole this season, having the pole for half of the regular season. It's crazy to see the speed that we've seen from the 75, and he does it once again as we now enter into our 5-minute warm-up period. This gives us the time to take a look at our points, also how the schedule has been going throughout this season, and also have our pick'ems, as well as 5 minutes for the drivers to get any last little bit of practice that they need before they start tonight's race. We'll first start off taking a look at the points. Talked about those 3 major scenarios that we're talking about entering tonight. We have the battle for the regular season championship between Vincent Sora and Zach Hull. 1-2 in points currently on the board. It is a 10-point difference, and if you get the regular season championship, you'll have a very nice bonus points going into the playoffs that both Zach and Vincent would love to have. The second scenario we're looking at is the cutoff line, 16th, 17th, point your way in. There are 4 drivers outside of the top 16 still mathematically with the chance to point their way in, that being Nick Crawford, Cody Reed, Andrew Medlin, and Chris Stitz. It's more so on Nick Crawford and Cody Reed with a much better chance to point their way in. With the amount of drivers that have shown up, Chris Stitz has now been dropped into a must-win scenario, and Andrew Medlin, if he does not get enough stage points, he will move into that must-win scenario. In the must-win scenarios, only the drivers inside of the top 25 in points, and if you have a win inside the top 25, your win will make you eligible for the playoffs. Justin, those are our 3 scenarios we're watching out for. Matt Muir currently 25th currently, and a lot of those drivers that are outside looking in, this is a tough track to win at, but there are a handful of drivers that we know have the speed to watch out for.
One of the things we always discuss each week when we're here Wednesday nights is how really anyone can win these races. There's 10 drivers out there that can always win, and there's another 5 or 10 right behind them that we are always like, they're going to be top 5, top 10. I mean, it's a very competitive league, and just looking at the standings right there, the guy I look at right there in 16th spot, that's a really hard spot. He's in, so he just knows he's in. He just can't make a mistake. But what if someone wins behind him? Then he's gonna get dropped down to 17th. But he was top 3 in the qualifying. He's starting 3rd, and he's a driver who we know is really fast, Sam. I mean, he's a past champion of other leagues that you've broadcasted. We know he can get the job done, and he's sitting right there in 16th. He's someone that I'm going to have my eye on tonight personally, and we'll be talking about him, I'm sure, pretty often.
Yeah, Brian McCann, 16th, obviously going to be a driver to watch out for. We're going to quickly move over to our schedule. It's going to be a pretty quick look at. This is how the regular season's been going down. Race winners started off with Cedric Hunter. Then we saw the wins from Vincent Sora, Gavin Rogers, both going back-to-back. Before we had the surprise victory from Mike Tellier in the middle of the season at Daytona. Then we got to see the strength of Zach Hall, who started to make his rebound push to try to go for the regular season championship. Ryan Kelly also got into victory lane before Zach got his 2nd win. John Forbes could be the dark horse heading into the playoffs. He'll be getting a win in week number 10 at Chicagoland. And then last week, Gavin Rogers, his 3rd win of the season. He's been strong, and that's been your schedule so far this season. It all comes together here at Bristol. And with Bristol being the last great Coliseum, here's some of the gladiators that we feel like are going to be drivers to watch out for. Taking a look at my pick, I'm going to go with one of the drivers that performed well at the past at concrete tracks, and probably a sneaky driver. I'm going to go with Ryan Kelly. Knows how to get himself out of trouble, wants to rebound after last week at Le Mans. That's going to be my pick to watch out for here, Justin. I think that could be a driver, but I also think you've got a pretty strong contender to watch out as well.
Yeah, I talked at the top with you before we went live. I think Drew Jewett tonight gets it done. I'm referring back to Dover. Thought he had a lot of speed there. Concrete track. That was a mile. This is a half mile. Thinking he can still carry that, what he learned from that race, on over into this one tonight. Thinking he's going to get it done.
Going to be another driver to watch out for. Both very strong contenders. And our 3rd in the booth that works behind us, we got Robert Moyer Jr., and he's going to go with another sneaky pick, the 15 of Ken Campbell. Ken entering tonight, one of those drivers that wants a strong run for himself. He's had terrible luck for most of this season. We'll see if Ken Campbell can maybe find himself into victory lane, as we are just 20 seconds away from these drivers gritting up and getting ready for tonight's race. Justin, I talked to some of the drivers before qualifying started to get their thoughts on tonight's race. All have been shattering at the fact that they feel like tonight could be a caution-filled race. What are you thinking about with these drivers here in this next-gen car at the last great Coliseum?
Anytime I've raced Bristol, I've always felt like it can really go 50-50. You start out, I feel like if you get through those first 10 laps, maybe everyone's nerves calm down a little bit and maybe the field starts to spread out a little bit. This track could be fun because you could run up against the wall, the middle of the track, the bottom of the track. Maybe you can get some room and avoid all that drama of the cautions. But also with this league being so full of so many drivers, it's really hard. There's not going to be much room out there. Once these cars get going, they're going to be all over the place, and leaders could get into traffic pretty quick.
They certainly can get into traffic very quick, but let's take a look at where the drivers will be starting here tonight. They're already starting to grid up on pit road, and here is your sixth-time pole sitter winner this season, Gavin Rogers, top of the board for the 75. He's trying to go for his 4th win this season. We'll see if we get it done here at Bristol. Starting to his outside from Lucky Duck Motorsports, it's going to be Aaron Smith II. Brian McCann will be falling into 3rd place for the 8 machine. 16th in points. Made a solid run here tonight to make sure he makes the playoffs. Larry Yingling going to be starting in 4th for the 3-time champion of the WSSR. Shane Darian going to be starting in 5th, already locked in, looking for a comfortable race. Cody Reed needing a strong run here tonight if he wants to make it based off of points or just win, and you're into the playoffs. Vincent Sora going to be starting in 7th, hunting for that regular season championship. 8th is Richard Wolsifer with a surprisingly great qualifying run for the 56. Trenton Jump 9th, and finishing out our top 10, it's Nick Crawford in the 74.
Then going off into the next row, in the 11th and 12th position, going to be Ollie Fonseca in 11th, Drew Dua, my pick in 12th, Zachary Hall in 13th position, Ryan Kelly rolling off in P14, Dakota Moniz in 15th, and Douglas Newbigging in 16th position. Brian Noel in 17th in the 07 machine, and Ryan Ferraro in the 34 machine rolling off in 18th. 19th is going to be Christopher Norris. We already saw his paint scheme before. He's going to be rolling off in the 19th position alongside Ed Shearer Jr. in 20th.
In 21st, we find the Season 1 champion of the 28 of Brian P. Johnson. 22nd position is the 2 of Danny Cochran. Also going to be seen in 23rd is the 53 of Christopher Wade. Ken Campbell, our producer Robert Moore Jr.'s pick, going to be in 24th. Joshua Kanata, who's one of the drivers just inside of our top 16, needs a solid run to make sure that he is locked in. He will start deep in the field in 25th position. GT Rosari in 26th. Tom Sinchek 27th. Anthony Gaudio in 28th. Carl Huller 29th. And our last few drivers is Andrew Medlin in a must-win scenario for himself, and then as well going to be seeing Gregory Hughes as well as Mike Tellier and Cedric Hunter. Going to be your 33 drivers ready here tonight. They're leaving pit road and getting ready to roll off. There are 2 drivers that will be sent to the end of the line. That's going to be Brian Noel sent to the end of the line, as well as going to be seeing Edward Sherwood Jr. with a penalty that is being carried from last week. Inappropriate messages being said over the radio, just not professional towards one another. We saw a similar penalty given to Bronson Stafford after Dover, and then also Chris Ditz is going to be sent to the end of the line, not holding his brake and causing extra damage. Tonight's race is going to be 200 laps. It's going to be a quick get up and go. But any last thoughts here, Justin, before we get ready to take off on this next turn off exit 4?
Well, my last thought is right here. Look at this. The pace car is coming down, and you can still see those cars still coming through the corners. I mean, the pace car's getting ready to go into the turn, and they're still coming out of the turn. They're double file, though. Once they get single file or spread out, that's what I talk about, that conveyor belt. The leaders are going to be in traffic probably 40 to 50 laps into this race, which could make it really interesting if it stays green. But we're about to go green.
Pace car into pit road, and the Bristol Thunder 200 presented by Lariat Productions is underway for Gavin Rogers, Aaron Smith II. They send it down into turn number 1, and already our pole sitter has over a car length and a half a lead over the 70 machine. The rest of the field, they're trying to find a footing, get in line, and hopefully you survive. Here at Bristol, lap 1 goes to Gavin Rogers.
Larry Yingling getting a nice start, using the outside line. Getting that momentum down that back straightaway right there, going to drive it to the bottom. And this is something we'll talk about often. Will drivers use the top, bottom? Cody Reed moving up already to 3rd position. Great run out of him. Started 6th up to 3rd. That's impressive. These drivers are definitely driving hard right here. 3 laps into this race already.
Already a little bit of bumping and shoving. Shane Darian getting into Brian McCann. Both those drivers itching for every little position they can. And was watching some practice. Some drivers were doing some AI racing. That's enabled here on iRacing for you to kind of get a little bit more traffic practice. it looked like the inside row, very difficult to make passes after about 3 to 4 laps. Then it's all about the outside lane. If you're going to defend, you can defend very easily, like we saw there with McCann and Shane Tarian. And a lot of drivers going to be focusing on how do you make passes work. But one driver that's trying to get on the move, that's the 7 of Douglas Newbigging, one of 8 drivers in a must-win scenario, as he's got Richard Wolsifer right in front of him battling for that 12th position.
And you see it right on screen, the 7, he's got to get the win tonight. It'll be fun to definitely be zoomed in on this driver tonight. He's exciting, but so many other drivers. Look at this Brian P. Johnson right there. He's kind of running that middle line there, Sam. Didn't go high, didn't go low. We'll be talking about it all night tonight. Where will drivers choose? As you mentioned, hard to get passes done on that inside. But when everyone's at the top, you almost got to go down there. But the fear, heating up those right front tires, is Brian P. Johnson going to get this pass over the 5 of Dakota needs in that corner.
Here's Zach Hall, 32, bringing out the red machine. He's going to need a fabulous night, as, again, 10 points back from Vincent Sora, going for the regular season championship between the 32 and the 51. Vincent Sora currently runs 9th place. Zach Hall falls to 17th as Brian P. Johnson makes that pass and continues forward. Christopher Norris, part of the drivers that are in a must-win scenario, he currently is back in 20th position. And right now for the 38 machine, one of the stronger Bristol drivers, I would say. He's had some very good runs. I think of Monday night in the Truck Series here at Bristol. He's had some strong runs also here in WSSR Bristol, and he's hoping that can carry over here tonight. Here's Robert Moyer Jr.'s pick, Ken Campbell. He's driving with his Storm Motorsports teammate of Andrew Medlin around one another. Andrew Medlin, one of the drivers that still technically could point his way in, but would need a perfect race. That's leading the most laps bonus point. That's also just leading a lap, winning the stage, and winning the race for the 12. Currently trying to find a footing back here in 25th position. That's not where you want to be for Medlin, who he needs to step it up if he wants to be a driver making the playoffs.
And that is something he'll be definitely trying to utilize tonight, is stepping up, but utilizing maybe that pit strategy later on in this race, trying to get some track position. We'll be definitely discussing that, but I can't believe how fast these laps are going by already. We're 15 into this 200-lap event. So really, as much as we're talking about drivers having time to get up there, we can't talk too much about it, because if this race does have that green flag feel to it, Sam, this is a race that the laps could fly by here fast, so you really got to make your moves and not be too patient.
Yeah, what's our estimate, as we use ATVO as a lot of our live feed information, if this race stays green, now there will be a caution at the end of lap 60, will be our stage break, but hypothetically, if that stage yellow wasn't there and we stayed green to the end, this race could only be 45 minutes in length from here to the end. So these drivers know it can be very quick, each lap of around a little bit less than 15 seconds. They know that it could turn around just quickly. Andrew Medlin, though, on screen, the 12, always so focused when it comes to these short tracks, and like always, he's back at it, trying to figure out how to work with his teammate to move forward. Again, still mired, but outside of the top 20, currently in 25th is the 12, as these battles further on back continue to rage on. One up front battle that's starting to get a little bit more antsy. Watching the battle for 6th position. That's Brian McCann under fire from Nick Crawford. Those drivers getting side by side, and the battle for inside the top 10, they're going to matter a little bit more than others, especially for Brian McCann, who needs every little point. Same for Drew Jua, Joshua Kanata. Those 3 drivers need to be up front. Kanata's the one that's missing out right now in 17th, but right now Jujua, 4th place. Also Brian McCann in 6th. These are massive points that they need.
And there's so much racing going on the screen that we're talking about. Some quick mental notes here. Drew Jewett driving up from 12th to 4th. That's pretty impressive. We'll have to see, will he pay the price on tires? Is he burning through them? A driver who started 2nd, though, he's now outside our top 10. Aaron Smith no longer inside the top 10, but is it because, is he conserving tires? We still have 40-some laps to go before that stage comes out, and while these laps go quick, the handling, these cars, they get tight, and when they get tight, you really slow down fast. So we'll see. Oh boy, looks like maybe some
there was a little
right
bit of tightness. That's Nick Crawford, exit of 4, gets into Vincent Sora, and has just been trying to catch and hold on from battling inside of our top 10 to now almost outside the top 15 in just a blink of an eye. for the 74. Also, Drew Jewett having a little bit of a slip up for the 7 machine off the exit of 4. And this is seeing that loose sensation cranking the wheel. You talk about the track starts to tighten up. Looks like they're getting a little bit tight in. Loose off factor currently.
Exactly. The front tires are maybe starting to go away. They're turning more, and then all of a sudden that rear end just snaps around on them, and you see those drivers come out of the corner and they get that loose sensation, and that's where you can really get some guys down there in that inside wall. Luckily, both of those drivers, the 74 and 7, were able to keep it off that inside wall. But I mean, the threshold, you're right there. You come out of these corners with so much speed, you just don't want to risk snapping loose. But we have so many battles to talk about, and just drivers coming and going. I saw on screen, it looked like Cedric Hunter. He started dead last, and he was moving up spots too. So we have drivers coming and going all over this track.
One driver that is 1 lap down, that being Edward Sherwood Jr., who started on pit road for this race. But if we continue to stay green, we will have that first yellow at the end of stage at the end of lap 60. So all drivers know that's the window they're looking for. Brian Noel, who also had an end-of-the-line penalty for the 07, he's moved up to 30th position, just a couple of positions so far, trying to figure out how to get by Anthony Gaudio in the 29 and the 15 of Ken Campbell, as this is the battle for 28th and 29th in front of Brian Noel from Lucky Ducks, as they continue to fight back and forth back here in last place. Fighting for every position really does matter for some of these drivers. Others, it's just salvage a type of a night for yourself, as with I could say small in quotations, a smaller field than what we've seen this season. It's been a lot of high 30 number counts, and we're in the 33 window for this field. A little bit smaller, a little bit of less points to be grabbed, which forces the pressure for some of these drivers to make big moves. As Noel, again, still trying to fight to take some of these spots, as you saw the Hello Kitty machine, the 13 is Cedric Hunter, snapping a little loose in front of the group.
We have ourselves a cluster right here on screen. These drivers, look at this, they go in the corner, low, medium, high. They come out and they're all trying to get right up against the wall single file, and that's where it gets really hectic right here. Gonna be a move to the inside. Is he gonna be able to complete the pass? That's the 51, Vincent Sora, underneath the 8. That's a pretty cool scheme right there. We talked about it last week. Got the same scheme tonight. The Half-Dale Senior, Half-Dale Junior scheme right there behind Ryan Kelly on track in the number 3 machine. But these drivers are starting to migrate up high, it seems, Sam. We saw a lot of drivers running in the beginning, medium lane, low lane. Now they're getting up there in that high lane. As we got one up in the wall, Trenton Jump.
Trenton Jump trying to scave his way off the wall. Now, Bristol's one of those unique racetracks where hitting the wall actually can assist you. You hit right in the apex of the corner, kind of help straighten you out and help with a better exit off the corner. But hit it too many times, that damage will collect and cause you to get required damage at some point, or damage your vehicle so much that it just doesn't feel drivable at some condition. But there's the 8 machine of Brian McCann, enters tonight as one of the cutoff drivers, 16th in points, 16 points ahead of Nick Crawford, and also 24 points ahead of Cody Reed, which Cody Reed is night strictly be ahead of the drivers that are in front of him in points. Currently, Cody Reed runs in 2nd place, under fire from Drew Jua, who is currently 15th in points. The battle for 2nd place rages on, and I'm looking at up front, Justin, it has been everyone second on back. They're running the outside wall, almost using it to get through the corner. One driver that's not, Gavin Rogers, is still running the bottom lane and keeping pace of a half a second ahead of Cody Reed and the rest of the field.
That's definitely some interesting data right there that you brought up. I remember racing Bristol, and I felt like everyone always wanted to get up top. And then there was a driver I raced against once, and it was...
Trouble strikes further in the back, and it's Brian Noel in the 07 that spins out on lap 39, coming to 40.
Brian Noel, that's not what he wanted to see. We talked about him having to start in the back, and you have to wonder, did that put him maybe in that potential issue to get caught up in this action? We'll see the replay, see exactly what happened, but luckily it doesn't look like too much damage, maybe on the right rear, potentially.
Yeah, looks like it could have been a squeeze between Noel and Anthony Gaudio. We'll see here between the two drivers off the exit of turn 4. Anthony Gaudio trying to rip the top, gets into the acceleration a lot faster, and Noel and Gaudio just same place, same real estate, but you can't have two cars there. A little bit of a squeeze spin and minimal damage that you could have had collected. And there's the leader of Gavin Rogers. Rogers was catching up to this group very quickly. As we take another look at it, running on board with Anthony Gaudio, you see him just rip the top, and then just seems like those 7 maybe drifted up, maybe expected just a little bit more room. The audio was trying to hold his position, and both made contact off the exit of the corner. And this was 20 laps to go in the stage. And we have drivers entering pit road, some staying out. This is that fun zone of the race with that caution in the middle of a stage. Drivers making that crucial call. Do you stay out for track position or do you enter for tires? And it looks like majority of our front runners wanting to stay out, except for Gavin Rogers. He will enter pit road, and a lot of the drivers that were also going to be looking for some major stage points, most of them are going to be staying out, except for Cody Reed. He enters pit road and most likely will be outside the top 20 on this restart.
I have to say, Sam, I'm not sure about them pitting. Maybe they'll prove me wrong. That's the beauty of racing. You never know. But I can't see giving up the track position knowing that the caution is going to come out in about 15 laps by the time we go back to green. Even with 4 fresh tires, they're just not going to have the opportunity, I don't think, to drive up there because these laps fly by. They're going to have about 3-4 minutes maybe to get to the front. I don't know. I don't know how they can do it. And the problem is, when that caution comes out again, they're probably going to want to go in and get tires. They're not going to want to have 15-lap tires on it with guys with fresh tires starting right behind them because not that many drivers pitted.
Yeah, I agree. And this was kind of the worry for a lot of drivers, was having a mid-stage caution, because it was going to bring out this opportunity to come in for tires or not. There is a pretty big difference on tire wears when you're 20 laps into a green flag run compared to just getting fresh rubber. So these drivers going to be 40 laps into a green flag run. They're going to have an advantage. The question is how big of an advantage of regaining that track position is going to be there in these tires. I think for Aaron Smith II, Ollie Fonseca, Joshua Kanata, those drivers were in the middle of the field. It made a lot more sense for them to take the opportunity because they could get back those positions. But if you're Cody Reed, Drew Jua, who are just around that cut line, stage points just seem way too important to give up at this stage of this race. But hey, they might be seeing a bigger picture. Again, some drivers' mentalities are more so in, I want to win to get into the playoffs instead of point my way in. So we'll continue to watch and document how this works out for some of those drivers just inside of our top 16 in points and those that are outside. But up front, it's Ryan Kelly, Brian McCann going to be your front runners. Kelly has the control on the inside, pace car into pit road, and we are back to green flag action for the Bristol Thunder 200 presented by Lariat Productions. Kelly takes off. Sora, though, trying to steal his second place position.
And not going to be able to do it coming out of the turn. They're still going to be side by side, but it looks like getting into turn 3, maybe able to clear. Yeah, he pulls up in front of Brian McCann. So to move Vincent Sora, the 51, up in the second place. Now his job is going to be to try to chase down that.
Middle of the field, on the back, in the front stretch, entering turn number 1. Carl Pooler sent around for the 58 machine, and looked like some potential contact. Fresh rubber, trying to work their way through traffic and getting some drivers in trouble.
Look, wow, Abe, oh, he's going to get hit right there, unfortunately. I thought Carl Pooler was going to be all right there, Sam, but not at that last moment.
And was not able to skid away. Here's another look at it. Gavin Rogers was on the back bumper. We're not going to see it here. We're going to see the spin from his point of view. There we go. And right on the back bumper, close, but there's 3 wide. That tap from Rogers doesn't help. And then Christopher Wade comes clobbering in, and that's what gives the required damage to the 58 of Carl Pooler. Looks to be some front right damage to that wheel well. So he's right on board with Brian Noel, trying to go for a spin to avoid the damage in front of him.
See right here on board with them how quick it all happens. He just locks it down, and that might be that product of a lot of rear brake, plus he obviously turned as well. Kind of locked up those rear tires and sent him for a ride. But here's the downside is that probably hurt his tires, that slide. Heated them up a little bit, knocked a little bit of wear off them. So see if he goes in and gets the tires. And that's the problem, though. Using up another set of tires has to gamble.
Well, luckily for Brian Noel, has yet to use a set, so this might be his time to come in, use his first set. All drivers had 4 sets to work with for tonight's race, so this should just be his first of 4 in pit road to work with. Also, another driver going to be joining with Carl Pooler. It's going to be Christopher Wade and Brian Noel, as well as driver that was inside of our top 10, going to be Ryan Ferraro. Now, Ferraro is outside of the picture of trying to make the playoffs here tonight, running for his own pride and glory for a great finish. So going to take that call, enter pit road now. And when you're not racing for points, you kind of have that leeway of you could pit now. Guess what? You could stay out at the stage break, maybe top off. But I heard drivers at this point, you're pretty good on fuel from here to the end of the race. If you pit, it's only honestly about tires. So Ferraro could be getting a huge jump up at the end of the stage.
You're right, definitely. Well, right now, before we say anything further, we have that caution coming out at lap 60, you said. These drivers that stayed out, Sam, I really am liking their strategy because they're going to get the stage points. There's just not going to be enough laps for most of them are going to get stage points. I would say anyone in the top 5 most likely, unless they have a really bad restart. But they're also didn't use a set of tires yet, and they're going to go in and get fresh tires, and they're going to be starting right behind the guys who took tires who are going to have about 5 to 10 green flag laps on them. I'm really liking the guys that stayed out. How about you?
With the amount of drivers that have pitted so far, it's mixy. You're right dead center in the middle of the field. At the end of this stage, it's going to be complicated on how the rest of this race goes. But first, we've got 10 laps to figure out who will get the bonus points at the end of our stage. We're back to green flag action for the Bristol Thunder 200 presented by Lariat Productions. Ryan Kelly once again back to the front run. Vincent Sora will slot into second place, but it's the battle for third, side by side between Brian McCann and Trenton Jump, as they're hoping for every point. So is Brian McCann. McCann needs these points, but he's stuck on the inside, and it looks like that's the conveyor belt where you're going backwards, as Zach Hall is making the climb to try to grab some of the points back to salvage that gap that he has between Vincent Sora and himself for that regular season championship.
Zach Hall moving up to 6. Brian McCann right there, able to get to the outside, pulls right in front of Zach Hall before that corner, so he was able to get up there and block that brigade on the outside that was getting around everyone. But look at Zach Hall have great drive, but he gets into the wall, able to get off of it. Luckily, no damage really, able to get off it like you mentioned. Hit that sweet spot, you're able to go again, but again up in the wall. You don't want to be doing that too many more times.
No, you do not. And there are drivers that almost brought out a yellow in the middle of the field, getting very antsy. Drew Jua, fresh rubber, is just muscling his way forward. He is just body slamming guys out of the way. He's forcing it 3 wide, but the tires are enabling him to take off and go. Same issues are happening for Gavin Rogers and Cody Reed, where they're trying to work their way forward because they've already used the set of tires. They need bonus points, but they are not climbing as quickly as the 77 of Jua, who's already up to 7th, about to be up to 6th, with 5, soon to be 4 laps to go in the stage.
Able to rip that bottom. These guys, they're all stuck up top. He's able to rip the bottom, making those spots up. Going to be up in the 6th position now. Sadly, only 3 laps to go, so that march to the front's going to really come to an end soon. But look at this Gavin Rogers. He's doing the same thing on the bottom. These drivers are all up top on the older tires, and 75 just able to rip down to the bottom. And look at that. He's able to get 1 to 2 cars per corner, it seems.
He is really making the march forward as you see GT Rizari in his spot, but it's Drew Jua currently up to 5th place, and he's going to march his way up to the lead. They are just slowing down way too much on the outside, and Vincent Sora defending for a quick moment to the inside groove. Now it's going to be 2 laps to go before the stage is over, and Drew Jua, with muscling other drivers out of the way, is now in position to take back the lead. The driver that entered here tonight, 15th in points, is looking for a maximum stage bonus point win here, as now it's 2 laps to go. Take it back, we're on the white flag of the stage. 77, what a run from 21st position to the lead in just 8 laps. Stage yellow is thrown, and that will be it. Justin, what a masterclass by the 77.
All right, Sam, is he listening to the broadcast? Did he want to prove me wrong? I said there was no way anyone on tires was going to come up in that short amount of time. I mean, he did it with even less time. We thought there was going to be 15 laps. He did it in 8 green flag laps because of that extra caution. I mean, that really opened up my eyes for what these drivers are going to do later in this race if a caution comes out late in the race. He just proved you can drive from outside the top 10 to the lead on new tires at the end of the race if need be. So this just opens up so much fun for us to talk for these next 140 some laps.
Oh, it's going to be a blast, and those bonus points crucial for Drew Jua as he'll build up that gap to where he's now in a position where I would say for Drew now the whole goal is just finishing the top 15, and you will be finding yourself into the playoffs. The pressure now mounts into the likes of watching Brian McCann, Joshua Kanata, who didn't find themselves getting those bonus points that they crucially needed to make sure that they don't have the likes of Nick Crawford or also Cody Reed sniffing on their tail, as Nick Crawford also finding himself with some bonus points there.
Nick Crawford getting the bonus points, and that's great for him because we saw earlier in the race, remember he was one of those drivers that kind of got loose down there coming out of the corner out of the 74, so luckily he was able to salvage that and do really great. But now the attention is going to turn to these drivers that pitted. I'm assuming Drew Jewett, he's not going to go in and put tires on. He's got to stay out, right?
That is expected. It is the 77 will stay out, and he certainly will. Rest of the field deciding to come into pit road. I think for those that pitted, they should fall around the 15th, 16th position. And we should have around 14 drivers staying out that pitted before our stage break. And for Jujua, what a run for himself. We'll see if we can pull up the 77 to get his thoughts on that run, because it was a spectacular one of just marching his way, moving drivers out, and getting himself the stage win. 77 to Drew Jua. It's Sam and Justin up at the booth. You got us?
Yes, sir.
Drew, stage winner, but man, you had to blitz your way through that field. How fun was it having the fresher tires and climbing to the lead to win that stage?
Yeah, it was a little bit fun. We had a 40 lap tire advantage, and just showing that I'm not really afraid to make those moves. Obviously, I'm gonna upset some people. I felt like I made pretty clean middle moves, and some people don't know that we're 3, and it's to be expected. The car is going to be plowing tight after 40 laps, so trying to pull a MJ fluid game here because I'm a little bit under the weather. So,
Well, hopefully you feel better after that run, because that was a great performance. You were ripping the bottom, obviously those guys up top, older tires like you said, but do you think your car is going to be good on the bottom? Or are you going to prefer to be down there? Or do you think you're going to migrate to the top eventually?
yeah, you kind of had to run the bottom there, especially with fresh tires, because everybody was just holding the top. And I didn't really want to make 3-wide moves, but both I think it was 56 and 9 were on the bottom. They were kind of trapped down there, so it was kind of like I had to go down there to make moves. So looking forward to the rest of the stage. Burn on my tires a little bit, but it should be fun up here.
Oh, we're hoping for the best for you, Drew. We're going to send you back to your team, and good luck for the end of this race.
There you guys.
77. You can also hear it in his voice. Under the weather, not feeling great, but man, did he perform there in those last 10 laps. Still, plenty of great racing action, as we're going to have less than 135 laps to go here tonight. Drew Jua, control vehicle. Cody Reed going to be on the outside. Mike Tellier in third. Here we go. Green flag is back in the air for the Bristol Thunder 200, presented by Lariat Productions. For those that pitted, they didn't fall back as far back as I thought they were going to go to. It was 12th place, where we find some of those drivers with fresh rubber. It's Ryan Kelly that's going to lead that charge, but it's not as big of an advantage as we saw Drew Jua. It's going to be a lot more work to get by some of these drivers ahead of him.
It will be interesting to see how fast can those drivers get to the front. Like you said, they don't have this big of an advantage, about maybe 8 to 10 green flag laps difference on the tires, but that could eventually pay dividends. But
trouble for up front for a quick moment. Cody Reed, Drew Jua getting into one another for a quick moment off the exit of turn 4. Cody Reed wants the lead. Again, a driver that it came into the night 18th in points. He needs every point possible. He tried that last go around to try to get by Drew. Got into that rear right quarter panel for a quick second. Another dashy move to the outside. This 25, he wants to show that the speed is there, and he needs this lap lead. And across the line, there's the lap lead for Cody Reed.
Cody Reed gets that important, valuable bonus point for leading a lap. Now he's going to turn his attention to, can he lead the most laps? Right now, we've had drivers pretty much split the first 60-some laps.
Oh, massive collisions on the entry of turn 3. The big one strikes. Multiple drivers spun around, and it looks to be Zach Hall, Vincent Sora battling for the regular season championship. They're both involved, and Gavin Rogers, you see there.
Danny Cochran in a 2. You see his bumper dancing around on the track. That's going to hurt. Not ideal. We'll see right here in this replay. Walk us through it.
You're going to see Zach Hall is going to be around the circle, and he's trying to make his way forward. Part of the drivers that took fresh rubber. Seeing a little bit of 3 wide. Brian P. Johnson, Trent jump. They're close. But, Hall and Sora, they got into one another there for a quick moment. And for Hall, he then gets ran over in the back, and for Zach Hall, required damage for the 32. He had to go to pit road.
I'm curious to see it. This actually should show a perfect camera right here. See exactly what happened. It's 32.
Zach Hall, Vincent Sora kind of bizarre movement Paul had. I know there's been a lot of iRacing issues, and yeah, he just breaks loose.
Yeah, he
overcorrects for a quick moment. It just, that was bizarre in the way that it looked.
That's those
gets
cold
hit by
tires.
R12.
Sorry to cut you off there. I think that's those cold tires there, Sam. Just coming out of the corner trying to plant the throttle, and the tires just didn't have the heat in them yet, and overcorrection like you mentioned, and just so unfortunate.
It's good to see here from Ken Campbell's point of view of trying to get through this madness. Drivers all around, and there are 4 drivers with required damage. Gavin Rogers, Tom Sinchek, Zach Hall, Danny Cochran, all going to be forced into pit road. And Ken Campbell just nowhere to go. Tried to avoid one wreck, tried to avoid the second, but the third was unavoidable, and into the outside wall was the 15.
Yeah, I really thought he was going to get through it there for a second, but unfortunately, wow. So drivers right now, doesn't seem like pit road was too busy other than the guys all in the accident. Maybe a couple drivers going in to top off, maybe make a little bit of a tire adjustment if they wanted to get the extra tires. I'm not sure if too many people are using up another set. We're coming close to halfway, but right now the attention's got to be on Cody Reed. We were talking about it. He's got to get every bonus point he can. Can he lead the most laps? He's getting some of them under caution right now.
And leading the most laps, such a crucial stat to have. Every winner here at Bristol, as Bristol's been ran 3 times in the past year in the WSSR in season 3, 5, and 7. Every winner has led the most laps. There's been drivers that have dominated practically the whole race. There's been drivers that led only half of the race. But Cody Reed, hoping to be the driver that gets himself into victory lane. As pace cars off, we're back to green flag action. Your Bristol Thunder 200 had its first big incident. Could we have another one as we continue to stay green with this restart? Cody Reed with a great launch, everyone else behind, trying to slot their way into a 1-lane train.
You can hear right when we were on board with the 25, Cody Reed going up for the gearboxes aggressively. You can hear almost the wheel spin. That was really fun to listen to on that restart. Doing a great job. Look at this. Right on screen, these drivers, they're all over the place. Again, Brian P. Johnson, he's driving down low. Brian Kelly, right here on board with Aaron Smith, having himself a quiet night, but staying inside that top 5. Driver who has really good speed at this track. Trying right now to get around Larry Yingling. Actually, it looks like maybe Larry Yingling was underneath him. Yes, Larry Yingling underneath him. That's the other crazy thing. Drivers underneath you, and you're still running the outside line, trying to get around someone in front of you. That's what makes this track so fun, the different lines.
The different lines to be utilized, and with some of the drivers that were caught up in that last wreck. Tom Sinchak officially calls it a night. Zach Hall still sitting in pit road. Gavin Rogers, our pole sitter, is currently running the apron just to log laps. Surprising to see the damage they're dealing with. Vincent Soar also dealing with some damage after that collision. It's given an opportunity for a lot of new drivers to be up front, and that was kind of a talking point I heard. A lot of drivers were saying, with the tendency of Bristol, there's a chance we could have a surprise winner that could really be one of the win-and-you're-in situations, as Cedric Hunter gets a little bit wiggly through the center of the corner after tapping the wall, and the Hello Kitty machine keeps it together for now. But you can tell all 3 lanes being utilized. You just want to make sure you're not 3 wide off the exit of the corner.
No, being exit a corner 2 wide is hard enough, let alone 3 wide. These cars, they want to migrate to the top because they carry so much speed coming out of the corners, and if someone's there, we've seen what happens, especially if they break loose. But this pack right now, we're watching, this is where we would say the Hornet's Nest, the 13's in the wall. Again, the 24 has to check up. If he doesn't, he's going to get right into him. Luckily, no incident right there. Everything's avoided. But wow, these cars are all over each other right now.
I feel like it's more of a when, not an if there's going to be a wreck. Cedric Hunter just looks to be out of control, and Ollie Fonseca looked a little bit impatient, as they know every lap that they follow this 13, they're losing a chance of another position. Hunter is trying his best to defend, but the just tightness he's feeling in the center of the corner, it's too great. And Ollie Fonseca continues to just stay behind. But again, Justin, it just feels like this is going to cause a wreck at some point.
Yeah, this is that like bottleneck right there. Look at Nick Crawford underneath Ollie Fonseca. They almost made a little bit of contact. But the 13, he's up in that outside line where drivers want to be. But yeah, it seems like he's just right now, maybe he's taking care of the tires, or maybe he's just not having the car handled like you mentioned, but he's kind of holding that outside line, and Ollie Fonseca's got to be getting frustrated right now as the drivers on the inside are just consistently going by. And the 24, he's just not able to get to the inside to get around the 13 because you got cars underneath them. And that's where the frustration starts to build. Right now, he's going to force the issue. They're going to come out 2 by 2. and a 24 is going to now be on the inside trying to get around the 13.
I'm not surprised. There was slight contact between the 13 and the 24 that last time around turn 4. So Ali Fonseca finally gets an opening, able to get by Cedric Hunter. Now the new driver that's going to be following the 13 is going to be the likes of Ryan Ferraro, which Ferraro already makes contact. It just seems like this is a trouble zone. Mike Tellier, who's usually not in this position, won Daytona, but all the other tracks, he's just scrounging for a chance to survive a race. And other drivers that we know have speed. You got Edward Shore Jr. trying to make his march through the field after starting on pit road, and also Vincent Sora caught up in that last incident trying to get through this pack, as this is all the battling just behind 13th position, just turning into a wall. And if this progresses on for another 20-30 more laps, Cody Reed, our leader right now, might have to deal with this himself as Anthony Gaudio and Brian McCann get close to one another there.
20-30 laps, you're right. They're going to be, leaders will be right behind here. And that's when you worry about an incident. Drivers pressing as hard as they can to stay from going a lap down. And the 97s gets way up into the 12. They're going to come out 3 wide. This is going to be trouble. Everyone does a great job.
The accordion effect does not cause another wreck there. It should have. Mike Tellier holds on. Same for Dakota Moniz, and the rest of the field did a great job reacting to all the bumping and banging. Again, this is all action. 15th back to 26th position are all in this gaggle of cars. They're just hoping for their lane to be the one that moves forward. But the outside lane is the one that's dealing with the most pressure. The accordion effect of Cedric Hunter just falling back throughout the field is causing a lot of drivers to drop down low. And the more drivers that go low, the more chances they have of just one driver slipping up. And they'll deal with the accordion effect dropping back to them.
You can really see right now we're on board with Chris Norris. You can see the ill-handling cars, the 97 up there twitching. It looked like the 5 was twitching coming out of the corner. We have so many battles going on in place. I feel like something's about to happen right here. Hate to take the screens off here, but we're also about to have a battle up front. I think Drew is catching Cody Reed. I mean, Sam, there's action all over this track. This is really the monster of this track, just putting cars everywhere. So much excitement, and like you said, the Cody Reed, 77, Drew Jewett, they're going to be catching these cars, and that's going to be a whole interesting battle. But up front, we have a battle almost 4 cars now. Larry Yingling's even involved in this.
Larry Yingling, Trent Jump, looking for an official win for himself. Again, winner of the bonus race. We had a doubleheader at the Daytona Road Course where Cody Reed, Zach Hall found himself winning the main event for that race. Trent Jump won the bonus race for the doubleheader. That did not count as an official league win. But for the 46, you would love for an official race, and what a race it would be to win it here at Bristol, as Cody Reed, and practically in a must-win scenario with all the drivers and the way they've been running here tonight. The 25 trying to hold back Drew Jua, the complete little bit of spoiler here. Larry Yingling, a former winner of this race, only back in season 3, runs in 4th as he's giving space to our top 3 to kind of race it out, use up their equipment. The 67 will try to pounce on this action.
This is, wow, look at the 70. They're all just really getting up in that wall. You can hear the contact. But right now, picture yourself in 3rd position right now. You're watching this race. Trent Jump, he feels like he probably has a faster car. The problem is, if he pulls down to the inside, he can't just slide up in front of the 77 and take the spot because the 25 is right there. So that's what makes it really hard to pass someone when they're running this close. He's going to try it right now. Nope, he's going to think better of it. The fear is if he goes down low, Sam, and can't clear them, Larry Yingling's right there to jump in and take the position. And then you got Ryan Kelly behind, Joshua Kanata. So this is where it gets really interesting when you decide to make your pass on the inside if you can't complete it.
Yeah, one driver attempted a big dive. That was Nick Crawford to the inside, trying to get by Ryan Kelly and Joshua Kanata. And he's now stuck in the conveyor belt on the inside, trying to slot his way in between the 3 and the 16 as their top 3. Like you noted on, I think for Trent Jump, his chance to go for a pass might have been 4 laps ago. Now, Drew Jua, he'll go for an attempt to the inside, not for the lead, and he'll lose that position as Trent Jump solidifies. Shane Tarian and Ryan Kelly and Nick Crawford getting mixy inside of the top 10. We're back to side-by-side racing on who's going to take these spots.
Wow. And as you saw, Drew Jua, he went from 2nd, he went down to the inside, he couldn't make the pass. Now he's trying to hold off from losing that 2nd spot. And the problem's going to be is if he can't get to the outside, Larry Yingling's now there. This could be Drew Jua's trouble right here. If he can't get to the top, is this conveyor belt going to take it around, or is the outside line going to get stacked up? And Cody Reed seeming like he's starting to fall off, maybe burning those tires up from jumping out there fast and leading all those laps in the beginning. These drivers, it looks like the start of the race now.
Yeah, it's looking like it started the race, and now Trent Jump, he'll go for an opportunity to the inside and trying to make the same move Drew Jewell went for, and it's going to backfire as now Larry Yingling will now slot into that battle for second place on the outside groove. It just talked about how hard it is to go for a pass, and we saw now 2 times in a row, drivers thought they had the momentum and the spacing to go for a slide job move on our leader of Cody Reed, and it's backfired. They've lost that second place position. Drua and Jump are going backwards. They need to find a slot to move back up. Now it's Yingling, it's time to go for a chance for the lead, and he might be slotted to the outside. We'll see if Yingling's teammate Ryan Kelly will give space for him to slot back up into that outside position, but Yingling holds steady. Kelly stays high, and now Larry Yingling's going backwards.
Yeah, this is that trouble. It baits you into thinking, oh, I think Larry Yingling's going to get a break.
You got space, Kelly give him space, and now Shane Terrian's going to take the advantage because of that little bit of spacing. They're now going to be jostling further on back because of everyone woeing back to let Yingling high. Shane Terrian's going to try to muscle his way forward. Will he come back up? Maybe get a little bit of a tail slapper to the 25. Almost clear is Terrian. He's got the best chance. The 9 to the lead.
9 to the lead, gonna clear the 25 coming out of the corner. That's gonna hurt Cody Reed's chance to lead in the most laps, so something we'll definitely keep an eye on later. The 9, he's gonna actually stretch that lead a little bit through the corners, able to make the inside work. One of those drivers, if you can pass on the inside, Sam, I have to say you have a really good car.
Yeah, and it all was thanks to Ryan Kelly backing out to let Larry Yingling move up to the outside group. It just killed all the outside momentum, which allowed Shane Terrian to take a 2-for-1 pass on Yingling, on Kelly, and then have the opportunity to pounce on Cody Reed, who each and every lap just seems to get slower and slower, and now drivers on the inside have a better chance to tackle and go for this pass for the lead, as Cody Reed and Nick Crawford almost making contact, but it's going to be Nick Crawford trying to make this pass on the 25 machine, not able to do so. In the battle for second place, all happening as Shane Terrian has built up over a second gap lead. But Justin, note to the audience, we are 10 to 15 laps away from major lap traffic that they're going to have to deal and try to get by.
That's gonna see. That's probably why Shane right now is flying. He wants to get to those lap cars and try and get around them as quick as he can without being held up. He doesn't want Nick Crawford catching him, who now has moved into second place, but he's still alongside Cody Reed battling on the outside. But look at this. Shane right now, he's got that little bit of clear track. He's able to conserve tires, ride the lane he wants, but still pull away because he's got that clean track in front of him, which is something so rare to happen at this track.
It's clean for now. Gets by Zach Hall, who stays on the apron. Luckily to get back out there on track. Unfortunately, 41 laps down. Anthony Gaudio going to be the first driver that Shane Terrian will get up to. We'll see where lap traffic wants to go. Terrian looks to have to drop low, which the preferred lane is the outside group, but Terrian makes the pass cleanly. That's one lap car in between the battle for second place, which Nick Crawford has finally made the pass for that second position as Drew Jua, Trent Jump. Remember, they were, what, one moment challenging for the lead of this race. They've fallen only back to 8th and also 9th position, and they are frustrated as they have to try to get by Joshua Kanata, who looms in 7th position.
You can see how much these drivers are willing to use the bumper, and 77 gets up into the wall again. Luckily, they don't get stuck in the wall. We've seen it happen with some cars. These cars with composite bodies, they kind of bounce off the wall, but 77's trying to get to that outside corner panel just so he can stay on that outside line. As we talked about, it's so hard to get to the inside, but as the outside line continues to slow down, these drivers who are able to make the inside work, they have the better handling cars right now. They're able to move forward. I mean, some of them that you see, Brian P. Johnson.
All right. Justin, sorry to cut you off. We're getting into danger zone. Lap traffic now in front of this pack. Cody Reed is about to deal with Anthony Gaudio. And then within 5 laps, they got a little bit of a cluster of a battle happening for 27th to 30th that just are knocking it away from one another. Shane Terrian is already blitzed by that little pack I was talking about. He's on cruise control, almost 2 seconds ahead of Ryan Kelly, who's also gapped his way around this grouping. But lap cars are holding up Cody Reed now on the outside. It's getting dangerous. They have to go 3 wide. Anthony Gaudio, we're about to see potentially a big one on the middle in the back stretch, but they keep it together. But that's 1 lap car down. This pack and grouping now has another 3 drivers to try to get by.
You can see it. Look at, they're 3 wide, 1 up in the wall, stuck up in the wall. That could be problematic. They're almost 4 wide at the bottom of the screen there, able to sort it all out. But ooh, this is getting exciting, getting very exciting here.
the mixture of lap cars and lead lap drivers. This is what Bristol's all about. How can you navigate traffic more efficiently than your competitors around you to gain or lose positionings? And right now, Shane Terrian's done a great job of pulling away. But the rest of the field, they've got lap cars that they need to figure out how to get by. You have the likes of the 13 of Cedric Hunter. We saw his struggles in woes. Also, Christopher Wade, Carl Pooler, GT Rizzari. They're side by side in front of this group. It's lap traffic battling for position. Lead lap drivers trying to cut their way through. It's going to be Ryan P. Johnson trying to be the first lead lap driver to get through this mixture. They're pushing the lap cars high. Cody Reed finally has to drop down low, and the tightness is going to force them to go 3 wide in the middle of that pack. You can see them back further in the picture. And man, it is just a madhouse for all the drivers, forth on back, trying to get through lap traffic, and it's only going to get worse from here.
Oh boy, they're all
there it is.
I mean, now they're just going so slow that even when they get in the wall, you have to say they're just able to stay off of one another and they're not spinning out. But look at this, this is insane. Cedric Hunter right up high. You got 25 Cody Reed. That car, the handling is really starting to give up on that GT. Or Zari up there in the wall.
3 wide, 3 rows deep. You don't see this very often, and they're somehow keeping it together. But this is somehow the outside groove is keeping it. Those are the lap cars on the outside. A little bit of eating and banging happening. Cody Reed, Douglas Newbiggin, they're getting in the mixture. Lucky Ducks is trying their best to fight back on these positionings. And Douglas Newbiggin, what a charge for himself to be back out front, charging inside of our top 5, but still 3 wide in the middle of that pack. And they somehow scave after this, and we now have coming up to 75 laps to go. This race is quickly just dripping away. If we stay green, we only have 17 minutes left in this race.
So I have to quick ask you. You said they're fine on fuel. We don't have to worry about anything with fuel. But these drivers, would anyone even consider it going in? I know if the caution comes out, your race is over. But I mean, if you can run a second and a half, 2 seconds faster, I mean, can you make the time up, Sam?
With the way this traffic is, no, you would not. There's no way you would get through this traffic cleanly. You'd be 2 laps down trying to get through this pack twice. There's no way without causing a wreck with the speed difference. You are stuck at the mercy of this field. And the only time you're going to pit is if we have a caution, which if a caution comes out, everyone's taking tires. There's no way you stay out being this slow that we're seeing these drivers running at.
No, definitely. They would all want those 4 tires. But like you said, going in right now with the pit stuff, with the pit roads and the speed limit, you would go definitely 2 laps down. I'm thinking, like you said, how are you going to get around and pass everyone? But man, those drivers, they probably want tires so bad. You can see that cars are so ill handling. They're so slow through the corners now. I mean, maybe someone starts shifting, trying to get a little bit of speed coming out of the corner. We see right here, if we're on board with Danny Cochran, he's staying in 5th gear. But I was hearing some shifting out there, so maybe that's the strategy drivers are starting to utilize.
Shifting certainly would be a strategy that you could go for if you're running so slow that you can't get off the exit of the corner. I know for our leader, Shane Terrian, he's staying in 5th gear. I believe for Ryan Kelly in 2nd place, he's staying in 5th. Ryan P. Johnson is shifting. He's in 4th position, trying to run down Nick Crawford. And based off the lap times, very similar to Shane Terrian, so it's more of a feeling. Do you feel like you're faster in a placebo effect? Then you're shifting. Otherwise, you're staying in 5th gear and trying to send it as quickly as possible.
As quickly as possible, for sure. Drivers, they're trying to catch this number 9 of Shane Terrian, but they're not. They stay in 2.1 seconds. I mean, even with Shane going through traffic, he's getting through traffic. The car worked. He was able to be one of the few drivers who was able to drive by the original leader, Cody Reed, on the inside when everyone else was failing to do so. So Shane, he's really got it figured out, and we have to give him the ultimate shout-out. Always on the controller, doing really good.
Yeah, one of the very few controller drivers that was performing so well. And as these drivers from practice qualifying to now race, they saw the transition from day to night. Now fully glowing under the lights is the field, as the track temp around 85 degrees is the temperature, air temp 71. Slight wind, it's not really moving too much. Humidity though is at 89, so a little bit more tension on the engine. They're not maybe getting as much speed as they would usually get with that humidity, but all these drivers, there was worry with the track temp cooling off, Justin. There's always that worry of sometimes you drive too fast at Bristol, that could bring out some madness. It seems like here tonight, they're driving so fast that they're practically using the wall to keep it straight.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of them are just kind of getting in there, and utilizing that cushion of the wall seems to always happen here at Bristol. And luckily these cars can take the beating. I mean, but eventually you never know. That could always pop up. You get that wheel damage, and then you could be in trouble. But right now these drivers are able to hit it enough that they're not getting that major damage. You see right here, we're on board on these drivers, how quick they just get to that outside. I mean, the 70, he's even a little bit higher, Aaron Smith. But you see that cushion, you can see the kind of the rubber, the chunks of rubber up there. You don't want to get above it too much. You see right there, that black line kind of where they're all running. These drivers, this is Larry Yingling right now that are on board. You can see right there, he's staying in 5th gear, Sam, like you talked about. Most of them staying in 5th. You mentioned about Brian P. Johnson going down in 4th. He's now down to 7.3 seconds, actually just lost his spot, so it does not seem like it's working for him.
No, it does not seem like it's working for him, but you threw out the option of would someone maybe take the chance of pitting, maybe get some tires. There are some lap cars that have pitted 4 tires, one of those being GT Rossari. Watch out on the 14. He's going to try to climb his way through some of the madhouse, and he will catch up to the battling that's been happening from 5th all the way back to 15th. That's been on top of one another. Other drivers that have been trying to make their way forward, just making the top 5 is Brian McCann. After all of his woes, he's now made the past 5. Brian B. Johnson, who was able to get by Cody Reed, tried to build up a gap. It just didn't work for himself to hold back Brian McCann and some of the other fast drivers. But looking at this field, we got less than 50 laps to go. And we've lost another driver. Tom Sitchik was the first. Anthony Gaudio is going to call it a night for himself. We're left, surprisingly, just 18 drivers left on the lead lap. But if we continue to stay green, we might be down to just 11 on the lead lap, maybe even less, based off the pace that we're seeing from Shane Tarian. But it might be transferring over to Ryan Kelly. Kelly now less than a second behind Shane Tarian. He's been getting by traffic a lot cleaner. But you can see there, Ollie Fonseca, a little bit of a holdup, but it's not enough to really slow down this 3 who makes the pass on Ollie, and Shane is struggling. The 9 is trying his best to get by Cody Reed. Will do so as Cody Reed now once was leading, now 1 lap down.
It is amazing how the handling on these cars, once it goes away.
Caution's out though. Danny Cochran spun out in front of our leaders, and that caution will change everything. We just went from drama to now get ready for some madness, as we're going to have less than 50 laps to go in the field, expecting everyone to come into pit road to get fresh rubber.
Yes, everyone will definitely be getting tires. Not a chance. We'll see right here on the replay exactly what happened to the tube machine. Going to come out of the corner, and
it's going to be out of 2, it looks like. And he's just going to snap loose here. Kind of similar to what the wreck we saw before with Zach Hall. Just snaps loose, gets the tap, and away you go. Kind of the finishing blow when a driver is getting loose off the exit of the corner, tries to slow down. It brings out the yellow flag. We'll look back, right on board with the 2, and just how quickly Andrew Medlin had no way to react. This 2 snapping loose, going out of turn 2 here.
Yeah, going to be right coming out of this corner. You'll hear it. And when he breaks loose like that, he kind of gets out of the throttle, and the 12 is already in the throttle, and that's how quick accidents happen. I mean, we see that happen at Bristol quite often, and it carries over to iRacing. And these drivers are all going to be going in, getting the tires. The most important thing here is do not speed, do not go above that blue line too soon. Do not want to get any penalty here. 4 tires.
2 tires?
No, 4. Who's taking 2?
Hey, someone might take 2. You need that track position. Someone might gamble it here. It's going to be less than 40 laps to go. Someone might. We're on concrete. Someone's always willing to risk it.
Hey, and you never know, because we can theoretically have probably caution immediately, which will then do another 3 or 4 laps. And we could get multiple cautions here, and you might not lose any track position, and then before you know it, might be 5 to go, and you're in the top 5. Even if you have the 2 tires, can you make it work? It's a strategy play, like you said. We'll see.
And looking at the drivers' pit times, looks like it is all 4 for everyone that pits that's under lead lap. Again, we only had a certain amount of drivers, 17 in total, that were on the lead lap. We have from 19th on back a few drivers thinking about maybe going for a wave around for themselves. And Shane Tarian not able to keep the lead. Ryan Kelly was able to make the pass under pit road.
And what's important about that, Sam, and we'll talk about it, is deciding where you want to start on that restart. Ryan Kelly's now, he's definitely going to choose the outside. I mean, that's huge for Ryan Kelly to get that lead. We know he's a fast car, but now he's got the lead. He's going to be able to protect that outside, and it's going to put Shane in a spot being on that inside. We know he has speed on the inside, but will he get the restart, or is he going to end up battling third and fourth position?
That's going to be the big thing is, does Kelly, like you said, where does he want to go? Did relook at the pit stops. Like you note on, don't want to make any mistakes. Don't slide through your box. That's exactly what Shane Terrian did. Old tire, slammed on the brakes. It did not slow down. It just kept on sliding. And that's why he lost out on having the lead out of pit road. Danny Cochran and Cedric Hunter going to be leading the train of drivers that are going to be taking the wave around to get back onto the lead lap. The only issue, they're over 90 lap older tires than those that just came to pit road to get service done. I want to say thank you to all those that have been with us here tonight. A quick shout out to our major sponsor of the WSSR at Trophy Smack. Head on over to TrophySmack.com today if you're looking for trophies, belts, rings, and more. And if you'd like to have a metal plate showing off an artwork of your choice, go check out their wall smacks at, again, TrophySmack.com. Use promo code WSSR Smack for 10% off. We're back to green flag action as Ryan Kelly on the outside took off immediately, already out of 4-car length lead over Shane Terrian. 40 laps to go in the 9 under pressure from Nick Crawford, who needs a win here tonight to make the playoffs. The 74 with all the pressure. Douglas Newbigin, who runs in 6th, also with all the pressure. And Ryan Kelly blitzing his way past all of this calamity behind him.
Nick Crawford chose to go to the inside of the 9, but wasn't able to make the pass. And now Drew Jewett jumps to the outside of the 74. Nick Crawford, like you said, he needs to get that win. He's going to be able to get back to the outside. That's important there, right, for him, able to get to the outside and hopefully protect those spots. But 71, Ed Shearer Jr., he's got it going on the outside now. He's going to go around the 74, who chose to go back to the inside. Ed Shearer Jr., we haven't got to talk to him about too much, but like you said, Sam, he started this race on pit road, and now he's driven up into the side of the top 5. I mean, he's put on a really good race.
He's putting on a fabulous show for us here tonight. Knew there was going to be a caution thrown at some point. Decided to start on pit road. Also had his end of the line penalty, so he was going to start in the back. Decided to keep himself out of trouble early, and it has been rewarded up to 4th place for Sherwood Jr. Douglas Newbigin in the 7 machine, one of those must-win drivers that are in the field. As trouble strikes in the middle, Trent Jump going to be spun around. Andrew Medlin as well.
He saw that right there out of the corner, the live shot, the 12. It looked like maybe it came down or Trent Jump came up. We're going to check that replay, but now we're under another caution here. 33 laps to go. Going to change everything, but going to be another restart. You see the 46, he has some heavy damage on the front.
Was coming out turn number 2 with Andrew Medlin and Trent Jump. Going to see here, they're both trying to react. Medlin just having that incident, and he'll snap loose right down into Trent Jump. Both going to be clobbering into the inside pit wall, and they will find themselves trying to restart further back in the field. Luckily, neither one of them will have to have a required damage flag, but one driver that does, Christopher Norris, blown tire. For some of the drivers that took the wave around, they were blowing tires during that run, as Christopher Wade had his own issues of a black flag that was forced into pit road. Cedric Hunter, under that green flag run, he blew a tire and was forced into pit road. So multiple drivers needing this pit stop badly for themselves.
I'm going to put you on that quick spot here just to educate me. I know it was an update recently, like a year ago, that iRacing started having the tires blow. Is it just when the thread hits 0%, or is it a temperature related thing? You hear about it happening at Bristol on these long runs. I mean, if we didn't get that caution, would we have potentially had some of our leaders have problems like that?
The leaders were fine because they already pitted, so they're good on tires. But if we had stayed green to the end, there was a chance of them potentially blowing up their tires. It's on a thread. These drivers have a percentage on their tires, 100% to 0%. And if it goes down a certain percentage, it's kind of random if it's going to blow at some point. Most of the time it's at 0, but sometimes it can go at 15, sometimes it can go at 10, sometimes at 5, or somewhere in between. And for Cedric Hunter and for Christopher Norris, and I believe for Christopher Wade, all had that issue at some point during the last time we went green. And those were the drivers that took the wave around and were on 90 to 90 plus old tires. So trouble for them. There's a few drivers that are willing to still stay out and attempt for a wave around. We'll see if those tires survive, but majority of the drivers that took the wave around, they came into pit row, they stay on the lead lap, and those are going to be the drivers from 13th back to 21st. Coming into pit road, getting service done, they're going to have a 10 lap advantage on their tires compared to our top 12.
And we saw at the beginning of the race, 40 lap tires, massive advantage when someone was on 40 lap old tires, but like you said, only 10, not expecting as big of a drive as we saw in the beginning when Drew drove from outside the top 10 to get the stage win. But there's 30 laps to go. So will those 10 lap better tires eventually get these drivers to the top 5? It will be very interesting to see.
As we get ourselves prepared for this restart, going to be less than 30 laps to go when we go green. Ryan Kelly, Shane Tarrant going to be your front row on this restart. Drivers of note entered tonight inside of our top 16. He was 15th in points. Drew Jua currently runs in that third place position. He is good on points. Brian McCann, who was 16th in points, he currently is in the good in 6th position. Nick Crawford must win if he wants to make the playoffs. As we are green, Crawford starts in 5th place, but Kelly doesn't care as he is already 3 car lengths ahead over Shane Tarrant.
No, Kelly might not care, but he's about to have potentially a new person in 2nd place behind him. That 71 machine had a great restart, but was not able to clear the 9 of Shane Tarrant. Drew Jua, he's back up inside the top 4. We know he had great speed as well. Larry Yingling now ripping the bottom, trying to make up ground. Not sure if he's going to be able to clear these drivers coming out. Is he going to be able to slide up in front of the 70? He thought about it, but he thought better of it.
Dakota Moniz, what a save for the 5 as he went for a drift off of turn number 4, keeps it underneath, and we stay green. But all these drivers recognizing it is go time if they want to have a surge to be up front and race for a championship, make the playoffs potentially. The drivers that are on the fresher rubber trying to make some big moves. It's going to be Joshua Kanata, Cody Reed has contact made. Andrew Medlin's night gets worse. Caution flag is out, as I believe it was Medlin and Richard Wolsifer that get into one another.
Yeah, we checked the replay right there, but was it a similar incident to the previous one before that? Maybe snapping loose coming out of the corner. We'll check it out, but it looked like that car's not driving too well even after the caution. Kind of just took right off to the wall. Probably got some bent tires. See right here exactly what happened coming out of the corner.
Side by side. And they're going to continue like this. And you know you're side by side. You're trying to give space. You're also trying to run your own position. Whoa, that was a awkward one.
Maybe the 56 kind of got that wheel spin. Maybe we get on board, we could hear maybe something happened. That just looked really weird.
Richard Wolsifer's steering wheel. Again, watch out. The orange is when it's pointing center. Here's a cockpit view of racing in the sim, and
like it looked worse from the first angle. Like that angle.
Yeah. Well, it's almost the big thing there is it was 2 separate things that kind of brought it together. Medlin was trying to back off because of the reaction on the outside of drivers. They were trying to, a chain reaction there. Looked like Richard Wolsifer maybe trying to sneak into that opening hole that kind of closed up quickly, and instead it gets into Medlin. Yeah, I believe there was supposed to be an opening there, but because of the chain reaction, Wolsifer expected to be opening to go up to the outside lane. It closed up, and there was a contact. That's why it looked so funky. Because Wolsifer was trying to get to the outside lane, and there should have been space there, but it's one of those awkward bang-bang moments that just takes someone out of that situation.
I think that's the perfect analysis. We're right here on board with the 12. Also, maybe he also hit the wall. It's just a speck. Maybe it kind of shot him down the track.
Oh, there it is. Zach Hall snaps loose. They back off, and
just
contact's made.
Yeah, the 12 backed up, and like you said, Wolfiser was going to go up there to fill that gap, and just everything happened. I mean, this is Bristol. This is how chain reactions happen, and it makes it very challenging for us to even try and figure it out. But I think we all figured that one out exactly. Zach Hall broke loose in front of him, and everyone checked up, and unfortunately, 12.
The beauty of replays. The beauty of replays there.
Yes, Robert did a great job. Our production, getting all the camera footage there to figure that one out. But now we're back up here. We got 20 to go, under 20 to go when we restart. Definitely the leaders, they're not taking tires, but anyone in the back go in and try and get some fresh rubber. The problem is going to be 20 laps to go, maybe 15 to 16 laps on these tires now up front. Not 40 yet. And we're not going to get to 40 because this race will be over by that time.
Yeah, it's difficult to make that judgment call, as we're going to be having 21 drivers on the lead lap. Oli Fonseca gifted the lucky dog position. Brian Noel going to take a wave around with him, which is going to force the 07 to be 1 lap down. But up front, I want to be seeing Ryan Kelly, Shane Terrian, Drew Jua, Edward Shore Jr., Brian McCann, Nick Crawford going to be your top 6, with Brian P. Johnson, Douglas Newbegin, Vincent Sora, and Aaron Smith the second going to be inside of our top 10. And based off the restarts that we've seen so far here tonight, the leader has the advantage. If we go into overtime, whoever's the leader most likely is going to win this race, unless there's a huge difference on tires. We'll see here. 20 laps to go as we are back to green flag action. The Bristol Thunder 200 presented by the Lariat Productions is underway. Drew Jua took the launch, predicted when they were going to go, and up to second is the 77.
And the 3 will have a new driver behind the battle. The 77 Drew Jua get that great restart. And we know he had great short run speed in the beginning, especially when he was on those new tires. We saw him drive to the front, rip the bottom. Will he be able to utilize the bottom and get around Ryan Kelly? 19 laps to go. He's got to make that move fast. These laps are going to fly by.
They certainly are. Another lap put down. Now going to be 18 laps to go here tonight. Douglas Newbegin, Nick Crawford battle side by side for 6th position, but their hopes of a win-and-you're-in situation is dwindling away as Ryan Kelly continues to defend the battling for 2nd place, but it looks to be the Lucky Ducks drivers for 2nd and 4th of Edward Shore Jr., Drew Jua. They're trying to find a way to squeeze the 9 to push him back to 4th if possible. But at this moment, it's going to come down to tire wear. Does Ryan Kelly's tires ever fall off and give a chance to Drew Jua or Shane Terrian? Because it looks like it just might be the 3 in a dominant position, defending high, and continues to try to pull away from the rest of the field. Terrian continues to slap that outside wall at the apex of the corner, and at some point, that's going to give, as he's just losing any chances of running down our top 2. But Justin, 15 laps to go. Ryan Kelly looks strong.
He does look strong. The driver, first one on the bottom, making a move back there to 71 of Shore Jr. Is he going to be able to, oh, the 77, he got in the wall. It's just, I feel like they get in the wall and then they come off so quick. It keeps catching me off guard there, Sam. I'm thinking they're going to get stuck in that wall, but they're able to get off of it. And the 9,
oh, Terrian used it to his advantage there. Brushed it, centered up, and he's going to use the advantage of the wall to get the better straightaway speed. Slide job move forces Drew Jua back to 3rd. Terrian might have just given himself the green light. It's go time for the 9 to run down Kelly. And we'll see if there's any other shenanigans of using up that wall. That is an advantage at Bristol. You hit the apex, it can straighten you out, get a better exit off the corner. And that's the fun and joy of sim racing, is there's those little nuggets of knowledge that can help you. And Kelly doing his best to defend. A little bit less than half a second is the difference between 1st and 2nd with 10 laps to go here tonight.
Ryan Kelly is just looking out his mirror saying, you guys do what you want back there, but just keep racing each other because I'm going to pull out. Half a second lead. Doesn't sound like much, but it's a decent amount here at this short track. That's a little bit of ground they got to run down, but one slip up from the 3. He'll be right back there in the clutches of the 9, the 77, and the 71. Right now, they're the top 4 that are running down. Don't count out Brian McCann. If these drivers get to racing, he's back there. Will he be able to get up into this show? He's going to have to do it fast, though, because under 9 laps to go already.
It is just dropping quickly. And for Drew Jua, think big picture. If you just run where you're at, you're going to make it to the playoffs. You're pretty set based off of points and the amount of drivers that are on the lead lap. Just don't get yourself caught up in a mess or a wreck trying to make a pass on Shane Terrian. And for also the rest of the drivers in our top 4, they're pretty solidified. Brian McCann understands he just has to stay ahead of Nick Crawford and Cody Reed, that both have been just falling off here recently. Crawford was in a must-win scenario. He's nowhere close. And with 6 laps to go, the 9 is the only driver that has a chance to close in this gap. Terrian is trying different lanes now to find a little bit of extra speed, and it worked out that last time by. He caught by a 10th. Terrian might have found something in that middle to bottom lane here late.
Yeah, definitely running a different line. You see he's entering a little bit lower, sliding up, cutting it back down. The 3, he's trying to protect a little bit too. Probably trying to save a little bit of tire in case they get to it. But 4 laps to go. I mean, it's definitely go time. I think the 3's doing what he needs to do, but the 9 trying to put on a show. You can see he charges into that corner, gets in there really good. But coming to 3 laps to go, is he going to have a chance to do anything?
It just seems like whenever Shane Tarrant gains a 10th, Kelly gains a 10th and a half back the next lap. It just isn't close enough. Tarrant's best chances, though, have been through 3 and 4. That's where the advantage has been. You just have to close in ever so slightly. 2 laps to go for the 9 machine of Shane Tarrant if he wants a chance to run down Ryan Kelly. Kelly, on the other hand, has looked strong. He found himself into victory lane at Dover. Talked about how consistency could help a driver out. Well, he's trying to find a way to win here at another concrete course. White flag is out, presented by Freaky Fast Broadcasting. One last attempt for Shane Tarrant. He shifts it into the corner, but not close enough. Kelly will win here at Bristol.
In the battle for 3rd, Drew was going to get it. Escher Jr. put a move on him, but was not able to complete that pass. But congratulations, Ryan Kelly. You see right there, the 9, the 77 are going to go celebrate him. These drivers put on a great race tonight. A lot of battling up front. But the 3 machine outsmarts everyone, gets that win. We'll be talking to him really soon.
An awesome performance all around by the league. Ryan Kelly's going to enjoy this one. And looking through the points, the 16 drivers that entered, it looked like they were going to be the top 16 just based off the point difference. It was going to come down to most likely a win and you're in scenario. None of those drivers that needed to win got it done. There weren't enough bonus points to be grabbed. Looks like unofficially your top 16 that entered should be your top 16 that exit. But Ryan Kelly, enjoy this one, a win that the 3 machine wanted to grab. He'll join the ranks of a 2-time winner this season. But for us up at the booth, we will step away. When we come back, we'll talk to our top 3, Ryan Kelly, Shane Tarrant, Drew Jua, and a spotlight driver right after this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the WSSR Cup Series, your regular season finale at Bristol for the Bristol Thunder 200, presented by Larry Art Productions. Your winner, based off a raw pure speed at the end, Ryan Kelly, able to get his second win of the season and at another concrete track. It just makes sense for the 3 machine. Well, he was my pick also on who I thought was going to be the driver to win, so I take that bonus point for myself. But for Ryan Kelly, he'll take a win as well. 3 machine in victory lane. Kelly, congratulations on this win. How are you feeling after those 200 laps of just pure chaos?
Oh man, I can't believe it. Seemed like it fell right to me there. I was talking to Shane, and this crew gave him a slow stop, and that allowed me to get the lead there on that final pit stop. And yeah, just clean air was really important tonight. And once I got the lead there, it was just trying to keep it till the end.
Ryan, great job on this race. Congratulations on your second win. Just a hypothetical question. If the caution didn't come out with 45 to go, we talked about it up in the broadcast. You were like 2.4 seconds back, and then all of a sudden we looked up and you were a second back. I mean, were you licking your chops right there? Were you going to get around him regardless?
Yeah, I don't know. Shane's a great driver, but I was hoping it would stay green. I was starting to close down on him, and I thought my spotter told me that he was shifting, or maybe the car behind me was shifting, but I know he was running the top and I was running the bottom, so I was still in 5th gear the whole time and saved my tires, and I think it was really hard to pass on the bottom, but I was going to give it a good go, and it would have been interesting, but still happy to come out here with the win.
Well, Ryan, with this win, you're going to carry the most momentum heading into the playoffs. What's the confidence level heading into the playoffs? As we know, this first round going to be probably one of the trickier ones of them all being Talladega and Darlington.
Yeah, definitely confident. It's nice to get a win right before the playoffs, just boost the confidence in the team. And the first round will definitely probably be the most challenging with, I believe, Talladega in that round. It's kind of a anything can happen type of race. So Darlington will be really important. And if we can make it out of that first round, I hope to have a good shot at the championship.
We're hoping for the best for you, Ryan. And before we let you go, the floor is now yours for any shout outs.
Yeah, just all my teammates at Yin Yang Racing, helping every week, and good group of guys, all the drivers tonight, and you guys are putting on a great show, and have some family watching, so nice to get the win for them.
Well, thanks for giving us such a great show to cover. That'll be your winner here tonight for the Bristol Thunder 200, presented by Larry Art Productions, the 3 machine of Ryan Kelly. Enjoy this one, Ryan, and good luck at Talladega next week.
Thanks, guys.
As we move away from victory lane, we head to second position. Shane Tarian get the 9 machines point of view. Led a majority of that long green flag run that we got to have, but pit stop errors gave away potentially a win here tonight. Shane, I know another great run, but I would imagine this is one a little bittersweet of second place. Do you feel like this is another one that kind of got away from you there at the end?
Yeah, yeah, it wouldn't be a Sky Motorsports loss if I didn't screw up pit road. So, yeah, that one stings. I mean, if I think we would have gone green without any yellows after that initial yellow, I lost the lead on pit road. I probably could have repassed Kelly because in the middle of the run, I was just ridiculously fast. So it just didn't work out that way. But it would have been cool to see. Just it's hard to pass here. It sucks.
Shane, well, you still were able to pass enough cars to get up in the second. I know you didn't get that win that you felt like you were so close to getting there towards the end. I mean, we talk about it often up here about you running a controller, which always impresses us. I know Talladega controller definitely is still going to be something that is impressive, but going to the race forward at Darlington, I mean, you were able to run really well here tonight, using the outside line, using the inside line, running all over the track with the controller. How excited are you for Darlington? I mean, clearly you got it down where you're able to figure it out really good. And Darlington and track, you're going to be running up high against the wall.
Yeah, I mean, you can say Darlington is probably my best and my favorite track, no matter what car I'm in at that track. I don't know what it is with that track. I don't know if it's a controller thing, but I am consistently really, really good at that track. So I'm just excited to go there. It would have been nice to win here, then possibly win there and go back to back. But if I can start the playoffs with a win at Darlington, I will take that. That one's circled on the schedule every time I see it.
Well, first you got to get through Talladega.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Talladega's next week. God. But yeah.
Yeah, it certainly is going to be an interesting playoff, Shane. With the way that you ran here tonight, do you feel like there's a huge chance. I know that you wanted another kind of disappointing thought to look back to. You had a chance to win the championship last season. Do you feel like you've got an even stronger chance this season to take the championship?
With how I've been running the last couple of weeks, I can keep that up. I mean, overall in all my leagues, I didn't have a good start to any of the seasons, and within the last week, I finished third in every race so far. Now second that I've ran in the last week, after Le Mans, obviously. But if I can just keep that up, I don't know, something's clicking. I don't know if I'm just getting back in a rhythm. So I mean, we'll see. I'm good at being consistent. So if I can stay with that, I could probably win a championship without wins. I've done it before.
Well, we're excited to see how you're going to perform heading into the playoffs next week, Shane. But for tonight, congratulations on second. And before we let you go, the floor is now yours for any shout outs.
Yeah, shout out my painter Matt Muir, who stopped racing. Team Sky Motorsports. I was the only one that showed up this week. I don't know why, but hopefully they watched. You guys were broadcasting, and then obviously Cedric, Zach, Brian, Nick, and those guys for letting me hang out with them in Discord for the night. It was fun.
Well, that will be your second place finisher here tonight from Sky Motorsports, Shane Tarian in the 9 machine. Congratulations on second place, Shane, and good luck next week at Talladega.
Thank you.
As we move down from that second place position, we move to third, who also was our stage winner. We have the 77 of Drew Jua with us. Drew, an incredible run here tonight. A lot of ups and downs, some points where I thought you were going to be in the danger zone of some of these big wrecks that potentially were going to happen in the middle of this race. But you come away skating with third. How are you feeling, though, after your performance here tonight?
Yeah, pretty good. We won our third stage of the season. It was pretty up and down race. We got up front. We got up pretty far. I think we got up to fourth, and then I don't know. I guess it was the right decision. It felt like the wrong decision at the time to pit there, and we won the stage. And then Cody and I battled for a little bit, and we got a super long run where I didn't feel like I burnt off my stuff, but it was super, super hard to pass Cody with our even tires, and I kind of felt like I had to run the top there behind him, and a bunch of people that pitted, 20 laps later, they ended up getting around us, but I felt like we had pretty decent speed, and when we got around Cody, we were running like 2 or 3 tenths faster than the leader, so then we got that caution with about 40 to go, and we were forced to pit. So it was just going to be about go all out, and if we get a yellow, rack it back up and go all out again. So I didn't really feel like I had anything. I had about 20 seconds of damage. So I felt like I really couldn't do anything. So overall, it was a pretty fun race, and happy to come away with third.
Drew, we talked to you earlier with that stage win, so we know you got a lot of points tonight with getting that stage win, plus having the third place finish. You have to be feeling really confident going into Talladega next week. Obviously, you have a really strong team behind you as well. So I'm assuming Talladega, you guys will probably be trying to hook up together and make your way to the front.
Yeah, that's probably going to be the goal. I felt like we were really good at Atlanta before we lagged out, and Daytona didn't really get to show my hand. I felt like I was in that. I felt like I could have run up front if I didn't get involved in that early wreck. So looking forward to Talladega, and looking forward to putting the Meals for Wheels Chevy in victory lane for the first time this season.
I mean, Drew, you obviously have the speed, and we know that victory lane is calling for you. Heading into this playoffs as a rookie and watching all the different drivers in this series, what is the confidence level heading into this playoffs and for your chances to run for a championship?
Yeah, I'm pretty confident going in. This first round suits me a lot. I do enjoy the plate tracks a lot, like I said, and then we also got Darlington, and Darlington's a pretty fun racetrack, and I feel like at least the round of 16 or I don't know what the name of it is, the round of 16, I'll just call it that. Will be pretty good for me. I don't know exactly what races we got in the final 2 rounds, but once we get there, I feel like that would be probably one of the more random rounds to get through. If we get through that, we'll be in a good place. So, like I said, looking forward to Talladega and trying to keep my car clean.
We're excited to see how you and your team are going to perform next week at Talladega. Congratulations on your run here tonight. And before we let you go, the floor is now yours for any more shout outs.
Yeah, shout out to John for picking me up. Shout out to Meals for Wheels. Go check them out if you already haven't. And shout out Next Esports, and we'll be back next week at Talladega.
Can't wait for it. That will be the 77 machine of Drew Jua coming away with third place finish here tonight. Congratulations, Drew, on that finish, and good luck next week at Talladega.
Thank you, guys.
As we move from Drew Jua, who does make the playoffs, as all 16 drivers that made it into the playoffs entering tonight will stay being the drivers that made it in. We'll talk to the driver that's available for us to talk to that made it in. That's going to be Joshua Kanata. Josh, top 10 run here tonight. We know that the assignment was pretty simple of finish ahead of a certain amount of drivers and you'll find yourself in the playoffs. You did exactly that. How are you feeling, though, coming away with a 10th place finish for the 16 machine?
Pretty relieved to start off. Drew and Brian McCann were definitely scaring me when they were getting stage points there, but cautions fell the right way. We were able to flip the stage and kind of stay ahead of some of the madness. And that long run, we got another well-timed caution that kept us on the lead lap, and just glad we got through it relatively unscathed.
Hey, Josh, congrats on getting that 10th place finish and you getting into the playoffs. And we're going to be excited to be talking about you as one of the 16 drivers out there. And just give us a little insight tonight on this race. I mean, talk specifically about at one point during the run, it seemed like the cars they slowed down so much, they got so tight. You guys were running like 2-3 wide coming out of the corner, going into the corner. And what was it like as a driver out there? It had to be really fun.
I got to see a lot of that three-wide battle in front of us. It looked like a preview of next week at Talladega. Scared the crap out of me, but it was fun to watch. Yeah, no, the tires just absolutely went away. I know my teammates, we had pit before the stage, so we had already used a little bit. We were down into the 30s and 20s by the end of the run on the right front. We were killing them, just trying to stay up with these guys, and yeah, tight as tight can be. I don't know how these guys were saving as well as they did. Shane passed us, and probably about 10 laps later, it feels like he was coming up to lap us. So, no, we were just trying to manage it best we could. We were kind of praying for a caution there, and luckily it came out just at the right time to kind of keep us all on the lead lap and, put us in a good shape to at least get me in the top 10. I know my teammates were there too. That was a lot of fun. It's the first time I've seen 3x3 racing at Bristol go that green for that long.
I mean, it was fun for us to call with all that green flag racing. It made the race go by very quickly. I know, very different from what we talked about, Josh, before the race, but making the playoffs, what is the sensation of confidence level heading into this playoffs? I know you were kind of the under the radar sneaky driver that made it to the final 6 last season. What is your thoughts heading into this season, though? New car and a lot of new drivers.
I just got to try to be aggressive, carry whatever momentum I can. I know it's not going to be easy, even just getting out of the first round with these guys. These guys are some of the fastest guys I've ever run in leagues with. And, being Talladega, having that as the first race of the first round, that's always a wild card. Anything can happen there. I think, it's Darlington after that, if I'm right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's Talladega and Darlington the first round.
It's a fun first round, isn't it?
Yeah.
Who knows how that's going to go. We're just going to try to do what we can and maybe capitalize on maybe some of the chaos that might happen next week. Fingers crossed. Hope rely on my teammates who are still there. I know John Forbes will be back next week, so we're just going to do what we can.
Well, we cannot wait to see how you're going to perform in the playoffs, Josh. Congratulations on a 10th place finish here tonight. And before we let you go, any more shout outs? The floor is now yours.
Yeah, first of all, appreciate you guys putting on a great show as always. I'm looking forward to watching this back and writing up another report on it as always. All the drivers, everybody who runs this, Cedric, Zach Hall, guys who put this whole crazy show together, everybody who's watching, and hopefully we'll be back here next week and maybe a little bit higher up than Tev.
Again, I'll wait to see how you're going to perform there, Josh. Congratulations on making the playoffs and a top 10 finish. Enjoy it, and good luck next week.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
As that will conclude our interviews here this evening, we get ready to take a look at our unofficial results for tonight's race at Bristol. A crazy night. 16 drivers entered, hoping that they would stay in the top 16 in points, and they did just that. There was one driver close on points to make it in. Nick Crawford missing out on the playoffs by 5 points. And as we take a look at our unofficial results, you'll see exactly where the 74 finished. A tough top 10 run for Nick Crawford. He will finish in 7th. That means if he had finished in our top 2, he would have made the playoffs and could have knocked out Tom Sinchek from running for a championship. Instead, we will see Ryan Kelly, Shane Darian, Drew Jua, Edward Shore Jr., Brian McCann, Ryan P. Johnson. Those top 6 drivers will be making the playoffs. Nick Crawford misses out, but it's still a solid run in 7th. Douglas Newbegin as well will miss out on the playoffs. Vincent Sora will finish 9th and will move on. And Joshua Kanata as well, finishing our top 10 finishers here tonight, and also will be running for a championship.
Aaron Smith there in 11th. Started 2nd, but fell back outside the top 5, top 10. In the beginning race, it just seemed like he could never get back inside that top 4 consistently. Settled in for 11th. Danny Cochran, how about that? Coming back for a 12th place finish after the incidents we saw him in. Dakota Moniz 13th, Trenton Jump 14th, Cody Reed 15th. We saw him leading so many laps earlier in his race, but settles in for 15th. Larry Yingling kind of caught me by surprise how he ended up back there in 16th after running so strong. Mike Tellier in 17th, Ollie Fonseca 18th, Jared Hughes 19th, Carl Pooler in 20th. Then 21st, Brian Ferraro, Ken Campbell in 22nd, Brian Noel in 23rd position.
A wild race of looking through the field as some of the drivers that wish that maybe tonight went a little bit better. I know for Zach Hall, missing out on a chance to even fight for the regular season championship. He'll fall all the way down in 31st position, and Tom Sinchek, even with finishing last, barely moves on to make the championship cut, as he will be the 16th driver here in point. As that will conclude our racing action here at Bristol for the Bristol Thunder 200 presented by Lariat Productions. Ryan Kelly, your winner. Last shout out to Trophy Smack. Again, didn't really get to shout him out that much here tonight because there was just so much going on screen and on track of the potential of wrecks. But I want to say thank you to Trophy Smack. Currently, we're in the season of fantasy football starting back up. And I know a lot of leagues look for championship trophies to crown the champion of the season or the loser of the season. And Trophy Smack has you covered on both. They have championship trophies, belts, rings, and more. And if you'd like to have yourself a metal plate to show off a pictured image of your favorites to either put on a wall with their magnet safe mounting system or put on your desk or shelf with the stand, they have it all covered at Trophy Smack. Remember to use the promo code WSSR Smack for 10% off. As we move from saying thank you to our sponsors, we take a look at how the week here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting is going to go through, as this is our first week of 4 broadcasts in a row, Monday through Thursday. Tonight, just finishing up our WSSR coverage. Last night, we had our first race of the season for the Challenger Racing League, and it was chaos from top to bottom. Fun racing action, drivers getting into one another. Tuesday, I think it's going to be the fun Brawl Series to watch out for. WSSR enters the playoffs next week. And tomorrow night, don't want to miss it, heading to Atlanta to be the fundraising race, kind of the preseason for the Doghouse Cup Series, as they're going to be in a fixed setup. But don't worry, after next week, they head over to open setups. Drivers get to decide how they want their cars to be running for themselves. Is it the short run, long run? You'll find out on Thursday nights for the Doghouse Cup Series. Fun series to watch. And then also Monday night, we have the ISRC Truck Series as they're heading into week number 3. It's been an amazing week of coverage. Justin, any final thoughts for tonight before we call it an evening?
Well, tonight went really a great Bristol race. I mean, we got to see so much action, inside, outside. They were all over this track. Long runs, a couple short runs there at the end. Then we got a nice little 20 lap dash at the end of this race. I mean, it's going to be exciting, but now we're going to go back to Talladega. The team racing is going to come into play. Talked about it. Some of those drivers are going to be hooking up 2, 3, 4 car teams, pushing each other, trying to get to the lead. We're going to be in for a great couple races here with these playoffs starting.
I think it's going to be an amazing playoff. 6 races are left, 3 rounds to crown a champion of who will hoist the championship trophy for the WSSR Cup Series Season 9. That trophy is presented by Trophy Smack. as it is customized for your championship winner. But for tonight, again, thank you so much for joining with us on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. If you haven't already, remember to hit that like button if you enjoyed the show that we got to give you here this evening, as well as hit the subscribe button if you want to see all the different shows that we offer from our Monday through Thursday races. If you would like to also be notified when we go live, hit that bell notification after subscribing to be notified when we go live. Again, 4 times throughout the week. For myself, Sam Dyer, and for Justin Malarkey and Robert Moyer Jr. and everyone else here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, thank you so much for being with us. For those that participated in the chat, thank you so much for always being a joy to read and to see that you're enjoying the racing action. And I want to also say thank you to everyone that just is watching and enjoying the show. Cannot wait for more racing action next week. 16 drivers enter a gauntlet to figure out who will become the Season 9 championship champion for the WSSR Cup Series. Talladega, Darlington is the first round. After that round is over, 5 drivers eliminated and we go to the next. We don't want to mess up next week too bad. We are going to be giving you all the coverage here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. If you can't wait for the playoffs to begin, don't worry. We've got more Super Speedway previews to give you. That's what tomorrow night's for, as we head to Atlanta for the Atlanta 300 at the start of the preseason for the Doghouse Cup Series. It's going to be a fun one. You don't want to miss out. We will see you tomorrow night for our next Freaky Fast broadcast.